Drone footage released by local Ukrainian fighters shows the aftermath of what looks like carpet bombing inside Mariupol. Similar attacks on homes, hospitals, and schools led the U.S. State Department today to assess Russian forces have committed war crimes. This morning, Russia fired more missiles at Kyiv, destroying apartments and trying to spread fear. But the people of this city refuse to bow down.
Russia has significantly intensified its attacks in and around Kyiv over the last 24 hours, leaving more and more homes across the city like this one.
Barbara, a resident and volunteer, said Russia has already bombed this area 4 times, but it's not helping Russia's advance. In a government building in Kyiv, 2 of the capital's top security officials monitor a real-time battle map, unclassified, that shows Russian troops are losing territory around Kyiv. The red areas are under Russian occupation. The blue areas are new territory. Ukrainian forces say they've recaptured in the last 48 hours, much of it in the last 24 hours. It's not just that the Russians don't have gas or other means to fight, but it's the actions of the Ukrainian army that led to destroying their lines of communication, so they can't replenish their food, fuel, and other equipment, said Serhiy Knyazyev, the city's police and military advisor.
Have you ever seen something like this before during the course of this war? Is this the most blue areas that you've had?
We haven't seen such big territorial gains in the outskirts of Kyiv, he said.
1 month on, Russia's war looks increasingly like a fiasco. And according to a new NATO estimate, as many as 15,000 Russian troops have been killed so far. And it sounds like it could be another long night.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.